Hey there, everybody. My name is Keno, and welcome back to your Montreal Canadiens franchise mode series here on the channel. Now, we got a lot of things to do in today's episode, mostly the draft and the re-sign phase. I want to get those both done, and honestly, I could throw in the free agency period as well. I'm not sure we're going to be the biggest players because we don't really need to make any moves, but we have to look at the truth of the matter here, and that's that this team underperformed in the playoffs for their third straight year. We've won the President's Trophy 2 out of the last 3 years, and in both those times, we went on to face the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round, where they dominated us. The year between that, we lost in the first round to the Columbus Blue Jackets. This team has great regular season success, but can't get it done in the playoffs. Now, does that mean I'm going to be making a whole bunch of moves in order to try and strengthen the team? No, I don't think we need to. I think this team is strong enough as it is with the players we have coming over. I mean, we still have the likes of Ezra Rabbit and Logan Hensler coming up. We still have an insane top 9 and questions of whether we can even fit Alex Newhook into the lineup next season or even Arber Xhekaj into the lineup next season. We don't need to make any big off-season additions this off-season, okay? It's not really in the cards for us. We're pretty much just going to go through, get Lane Hutson extended, figure out what to do with Alex Newhook, and figure out what to do with Arber Xhekaj. Maybe we'll have to make some trades in order to alleviate the bloating that we have at positional players. We have a lot of NHL caliber defenders and a lot of NHL caliber goaltenders and a lot of NHL caliber forwards that just might not see the light of day in a Montreal Canadiens uniform. So we'll have to figure out what to do, but that just starts here going into the offseason now. And we are waiting to hear back from a few players on whether they want to extend their contracts with your Montreal Canadiens. So Jordan Harris, Olivier Rodrigue, Xavier Simoneau, Jack Finley, Philip Mazar, and Owen Beck all extend their contracts with the team, and it's great that we got all of them back. I mean, especially Olivier Rodrigue. He didn't really get a chance with us after we acquired him at the trade deadline, but I think there's a lot to be excited about. But it also adds to the issue of us having a bloat at the goaltending position because we have Gabriel Dag, Emil Vini, Jacob Fowler, Caden Primo, and now Olivier Rodrigue, all as NHL caliber goaltenders going into next season, so somebody's gonna have to go. And the Stanley Cup champion is the Edmonton Oilers, with the San Jose Barracuda winning the Calder Cup. Draft lottery results are in, and the Nashville Predators jump from 5th to 1st, Vegas falls from 1st to 2nd, Columbus falls from 2nd to 3rd, Florida from 3rd to 4th, and St. Louis rounds out that top 5, falling from 4th to 5th. And it is a stacked draft, with Evan Pelech slated to go 1st overall, Owen Hayes following 2nd, Jackson Jacobson as the potential 3rd overall pick, but our scouts have him as the 4th pick. Vyacheslav Tutin, I mean, he looks pretty decent. And PK Subban, similar style and NHL ready already, so that's somebody to possibly keep an eye out, but I don't see us trading up into the top 4. I don't see it happening. Eli McCamey at 5th, Elliot Daigneault at 6th, Landon Dupont at 7th, and I'd love to add Daigneault and Dupont, but again, I don't see us having the ability to move up that far. This guy here looks interesting, slated to go 11th overall, Christopher Ellison, and Ellison is a famous name for this channel. If you haven't watched the Beach Bandit series, that is a fun series, and Ellison is a big name in that series for infamous reasons. His stats look great, although they're not confirmed. He does look very interesting, and he is a confirmed NHL ready 6'4" centerman, so you know, that could be somebody that if we do get the ability to trade up, we target. But again, I don't see us being able to trade up in this year's draft. There's a lot of good players available. Henry Hillis, Sloan, Anderson. There's a lot of good players here, but I don't see it in the cards for us. And Phil the Thrill retires. Corey Perry, as well as David Perron, Zach Parise, and Victor Hedman round out the top 5 players who have retired this offseason. And we were all wondering, and it does happen, Marc-Andre Fleury finally retires as a Montreal Canadien, having played 1,109 games with 600 wins on the dot and a career .910 save percentage. And then down here, Jake Allen also retires, just shy of playing 500 games in the NHL. 239 wins in 492 games is not bad. A career .908 save percentage with 31 shutouts. But here we are at the 2027 NHL entry draft, and I'm going to take a look around quickly. But first, before I do any looking around, before I do any hunting for trades and deals and stuff like that, it's the moment we've all been waiting for, the NHL awards. Now, I want to know if we got robbed. Originally, before EA Voodoo struck and we lost our save file, Lane Hutson was not only a potential to win the Norris, or a lock to win the Norris, but he was a potential to win the Hart Trophy. Have things changed? Definitely. I don't know if he will win the Hart Trophy. I'm pretty sure he'll win the Norris, but players like Maurice Cedar and Cale Makar were very close, and their plus-minus might push them over. But as we know, the Oilers win the Stanley Cup, and we did win the President's Trophy. So again, 2 President's Trophies in 3 years, but we haven't made it past the second round. It's something that we need to be a little concerned about. But we're all here for the individual awards. Now, Nikita Kucherov wins the Art Ross. He had an amazing end to that season, and he also wins the Hart. So that doesn't go to Lane Hutson. We kind of figured it might not. He was like 15th, 16th in league scoring, so I wasn't sure if he'd be able to overcome that kind of deficit. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But he doesn't also win the Norris. He doesn't get the Norris. Makar jumps over him to get it, and that is a robbery. Hutson had an amazing freaking season. He was the leading scoring defender. He was very good defensively, and he doesn't get the James Norris Memorial Trophy. That is absolute robbery, and I don't even know what to think about that, honestly. I can't believe he didn't get it. I just can't believe he didn't get it. The Bing goes to Kucherov. The Calder goes to Victor Eklund. Conn Smythe to Leon Draisaitl. The Vezina Trophy to Igor Shesterkin. William N. Jennings to Jeremy Swayman. Riker Evans gets the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. The Winnipeg Jets coach M. Morrissey gets the Jack Adams Award. Barkov walks away with the Selke. Kucherov gets the Ted Lindsay and the Maurice Richard. So Kucherov walked home with every bit of the awards this season, pretty much. Every award that he could win, he pretty much won. But now we're here at the draft. This is the pre-draft, okay? So we're not actually into the draft yet using the trade for asset ability in the stat screen. We're here at the trading window, and I want to take a look around and see what we can do. Now, a quick thing that I want to state, I turned off Fog of War. It was annoying me. Nobody had said anything about turning it off, but I honestly just, I wanted to see what we had and didn't want to wait anymore, if you know what I mean. So when it comes to goaltenders, we're stacked, and as I said, yeah, we have 5 NHL caliber goaltenders because we have Rieg, Dag, Feeney, Fowler, and Primo. Even though he was our starting goaltender this season and played 73 damn games, he's only still listed as an 82 overall. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to get Olivier Rodrigue extended, because we do have other goalies coming up, but in case Dag or Feeney or Fowler are stumbling, we can't rest all of our laurels on Primo to do the unbelievable and do as great as he did last season again this coming season. Now, an interesting prospect that I grabbed in the 4th round in last year's draft was Gaspard Lacroix. I grabbed him because he seemed like he had a freaking killer name, and he really does. And you know what, he's only a high AHL starter, but with 41 wins in 66 games and 8 shutouts, guys, we might have a really good simming goalie. I mean, it's weird, but sometimes goalies can sim really damn well, independent of their overall. And Gaspard Lacroix might be that. Could you imagine if he becomes our starting goaltender or our backup goaltender as a potential high AHL starter? There's definitely an option. I wouldn't be opposed to giving it a try. Defensively, as I said, we are really stacked with Reinbacher, Hudson, Gooley. We got to figure out what to do with Jack-Eye, but we also have Barron coming back. And then 19-year-old Ezra Rabbit and 20-year-old Logan Hensler. Plus, what's this? Theo Modano, the 3rd round pick from last year's draft. Look at that. He's jumped up to an NHL caliber defender at 20 years old. Holy crap. So we have even more decisions. I want to definitely get him into lineups next year, get him some ice time. But yeah, we got a little bit of a bloating here on the defensive core too, and we have to make some decisions there because we still have Jordan Harris, and I really want to get him in some NHL ice time this season. As for forwards, again, look at how stacked we are. Look at how stacked we are. We have potential second liners all the way down here. We have almost 10 second line forwards. And then with the development of Mason St. Louis, 99 offensive awareness, he's going to be a stud for us as well. So I don't think we need to make any big moves here. I mean, Owen Beck and Philip Mazar might find themselves on the way out because they're both 77 overall at 23 years old, and they do have decent attributes. I mean, Owen Beck has a pretty good shot and decent-ish defensive category, but not enough to really usurp any of the players we currently have in our top 12 forward category. And because of that, it might be time to just see if we can flip them for picks if we need to. I mean, Mazar is really fast and he's got decent offensive awareness. Of the two, he's probably the most likely to make an NHL spot, but I don't know where. I don't know who he would overpass to get an NHL opportunity. And as far as draft picks go, we do have a decent amount of them actually, and we have 2 first rounders with the 26th and 28th overall picks in this year's draft, plus the 43rd pick that we got from the Calgary Flames and the Olivier Rodrigue trade. So we don't really need to make a move just to add draft picks, and I'm not honestly in the biggest rush to make a lot of trades in this video. I know it kind of seems par with this series. We sometimes make some big additions, but for the most part, we just kind of let the team sail and do their thing, and it hasn't really proved us wrong aside from the playoffs. I still want to see some playoff success, but I'm not thinking that we're too far away from it. It's not that we're missing a piece. I think we just need another year or two to get over that hurdle. And after taking a look around through all the other 31 NHL teams, I couldn't see anything we really needed to do. Not in this video. Maybe at the beginning of the next season when we fully have the off-season development in play and players have progressed, we'll see what we have to do, because we definitely have to make some sorts of trades to relieve some of the pressure that we have in the goaltending and defensive departments, and even a bit in the forward department. But I don't think it needs to be done at this year's NHL entry draft. So with the draft just moments away, there's only one more thing I wanted to do, and that's to check if any prices have dropped. So Lane Hudson's still looking for $15.73 million a year over the next 3 years, and that's just not going to fly with me. And even if we change the price to 4 years, or the term to 4 years, you know, I'm not paying him $20 million to stay with the team. I might, but I really don't want to. I'm hoping the price drops when we get to the re-sign phase. As for Alex Newhook, he's not looking for a lot. I mean, even if we bump up the term, it starts to go a little heavier there. It's probably going to drop when we get to the re-sign phase, but again, I don't know where he would fit. I think we've done all of our due diligence here. I think we're ready. Let's jump into the 2027 NHL entry draft. Now, it doesn't look like anybody in the top 5 wants to trade, and again, I don't think we need to make that move. I do know that we have to move on from Newhook. It's seeming more and more apparent, but it's not like we're going to get a lot, especially with the highest pick available being the 14th overall pick, and I don't believe there's any guaranteed elites there. And no, it's not looking like it. Gary Anderson, no. Jet Deschamps, no. Yeah, so there's nobody here that I really need to make a move for. I would obviously love to grab Christopher Ellison. I think he might be really stellar for us, but I don't think we could add enough to the trade to get it done. So for now, we're going to stand pat here. We're going to see who the Nashville Predators take first overall, get through the top 5, and then kind of reevaluate what our stance is. So first overall, the Nashville Predators do select Evan Pelech, the 81 overall medium elite two-way forward center. And he looks pretty decent, honestly. He looks really well routed, definitely going to jump into the Preds lineup. Second overall, the Vegas Golden Knights do take winger Owen Hayes, and he does look good. He's got insane puck skills already, a decent skating category. He's just a little lackluster on the shot and a little lackluster on that defensive category, but he looks good nonetheless. Third overall, Vyacheslav Tutin, the offensive defenseman, goes to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he looks pretty damn good, honestly. They might have gotten a steal here. I say steal, but they made the third overall pick. I mean, they might have got the best defender in the draft. Fourth overall, the Florida Panthers take Eli McCamey, and he does look good. Look at that defensive category already. He is ready. He is definitely ready for the NHL. The only thing that I would be concerned about is, once again, the shooting and skating categories. Now, a quick little side note, I am going to be ending all 3 series, the Deep Bandits, Montreal Canadiens, and Toronto Maple Leafs series, in the next coming month, and we'll be starting 2 new series, franchise mode series, with new rosters. So I've been working on these rosters. They're going to be much more different because I want to give like a different feel every time we kind of start a new franchise mode series. And I want your guys' opinions on who you think is not as highly rated as they should be, who you think is a sleeper player, and also what teams do you think I should do for the next series. But now back to the draft. We're going to round out the top 5 here. The St. Louis Blues take Elliot Daigneault, he looks damn good. He looks damn good. He has a decent shot for once. He doesn't have the best puck skills. His defensive category looks good, and his skating category is decent for an 18-year-old. So they might have got a really good player there. Maybe the best of the top 5, but I still think that Owen Hayes might be a steal, or not a steal, but like a great piece for the Vegas Golden Knights, as well as Eli McCamey. But here we are, 6th overall, coming up with the Boston Bruins slated to make that pick. So the Bruins take Jackson Jacobson 6th overall. I'm kind of simming some picks here because I want to see if Christopher Ellison goes early. Landon DuPont goes to the New York Islanders 7th overall. At 8th overall, the San Jose Sharks take Bogdan Vasilevsky. And now the Anaheim Ducks are looking to move 9th overall. Okay. All right, and I have a trade set up, and I think it'll work out. Now, the Flyers did have that 9th overall pick. They moved it to the Ducks, and now the Ducks want to move it again. So it looks like the perfect opportunity to move on from Alex Newhook. We will be packaging Alex Newhook and the 28th overall pick to the Anaheim Ducks for the 9th overall pick and defenseman Tristan Luneau. Now, I know I said we have a backlog at defense, but he looks stellar, and I think we can really find a place for him. And he's almost a better version of Justin Barron, so I really want to give him an opportunity here. But let's see, will this trade go through? It does. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in Anaheim, so we are accepting your trade offer. So unfortunately, Alex Newhook's tenure with the Montreal Canadiens, as great as it was, has come to an end, and now we're on to a new era. And we had to do that because we needed to move on from the cap space. Now, I know I'm the most contradictory, hypocritical person because I say, oh, we're not going to make some trades. We're pretty stacked. We don't need to trade up into the top 10. We're not going to do anything like that. And then I immediately go ahead and do it. And I immediately know also who we're going to be taking with this pick. Now, this could be a massive flop. I could get it wrong. I should probably go safely and go with the secured Noah Stenlund, who is a confirmed medium elite defender. I just don't want to do that. I think Christopher Ellison is the great one here. I think he is a steal, even though we're getting him at 9th overall. I think he might be the best forward available here at this draft. And I'm willing to bet everything on it. I'm willing to bet everything on it. If I'm wrong, holy crap, that'll be 2 Ellisons I get in a row that are wrong. But I think I'm right. Christopher Ellison from the Kitchener Rangers, welcome to the Montreal Canadiens. And he is confirmed medium elite, 80 overall depth forward, 2-way forward. He's 6'4", and his stats, they look decent. I mean, I don't think he's going to get into NHL ice time this season, but he is going to be a good player for years to come for us. And finally, I made a good pick at Ellison, and I think, honestly, I made the original Ellison pick for the Butte Bandit series at 9th overall. Holy crap, I think I did. Well, that's just weird, but we have selected Christopher Ellison 9th overall, and we still have another pick in this first round, so I'm going to jump right to that now. I don't think we're going to be trading up anymore. Now, there is a medium elite goalie available here coming up just before he's slated to go just before our pick. Goalie Eric 2, he's 6'5", and he already has really good attributes slated. He's 1 year out, but hear me out. Yo, he had 9 shutouts too. Okay, so I was going to say that maybe we don't take him because we have Daigneault, or I was going to say that maybe we don't take him because we have Dag and Emil Vini coming up along with Jacob Fowler, but I mean, he did really well for the Vancouver Giants. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to trade up and add another goaltending prospect that we're just going to have to inevitably move on from. So we're going to jump to the 26th overall pick. If he's available, we'll make the move, but holy crap, he's available. All right, fate decided it. Eric 2, the 6'5" goaltender from the Vancouver Giants. I know, once again, I'm going back on my word and taking a player that I said I wasn't going to take, but come on, you don't pass this up. Sometimes you have to go for the best player available, and that is Eric 2, a 72 overall medium elite goaltender. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's about a year or 2 out, and he did amazing. He didn't win a lot of games for the Vancouver Giants, but not 9 shutouts, 913 save percentage, 279 goals against average. This guy was bombarded and still gave his team a fighting chance. But that's probably going to round out the first round for us here. I'm going to jump to our 43rd pick and then go back and see who was taken to round out that first round. So after we took Eric 2, there was Continent, Lacerte, Forstrom. Yeah, there was definitely no big names there. And then in the second round, Gleason, a low elite, that could have been decent to grab. But I think there'll be others. Leclerc is another low elite that we probably could have had our chance at. But you know what? I think there's still going to be another. I think there's still going to be more, if I'm not mistaken. Gail Cowan does look decent, but I'm pretty sure he's probably a medium top 6. And then we get to here. Neil Frazee, he could be good. Viktor Sloviev looks pretty decent as well. And with the 43rd pick in this year's NHL entry draft, I will be taking the right winger from Russia, Viktor Sloviev. And he is also a low elite, another two-way forward, 64 overall. So that's good. And it's very nice to be able to see what our players look like without fog of war on. We're going to jump ahead here to the 90th overall pick because I don't think there's going to be really anyone else available, and I didn't want to have my heart broken and see that there was like a superstar available. Lepisto was pretty decent. Frazee was a low elite as well, a little better than our guy, but we still got a good player here. There was another medium elite goalie in Lundin, and in Hoffman, another low elite player in Hobson, and a medium elite left winger in Tham. So we did maybe miss out on some players here, but we still have an opportunity to make a good pick. And honestly, we already got Ellison, we got Soloviev, we got Eric 2. We've had a really successful draft, even if we walk away with just those 3 picks. Let's see who is available here at 90th overall, though. Right off the bat, Bruce Millet looks really good, possibly a low elite as well, so we might take a gamble on him. And Bruce Millet will be the pick. Honestly, I don't think there was anybody else. I did sort potential, and I couldn't really find anyone. So Bruce Millet, come to the Montreal Canadiens. He is a low top 6, 65 overall, so he could develop, but I'm not too sure. We might move on from this 92nd pick here. And you know what? We are going to move on from it. And not only are we going to move on for it, we're going to package it with Philip Mazar and see what we can recoup. Yeah, the Kings are willing to already move on from the medium elite goalie they just drafted, but I'm not interested. And the best trade I could find was from the Colorado Avalanche, who are looking to move their 2nd and 3rd round pick in next year's draft. So we are going to take that. And unfortunately, Philip Mazar has found himself off the Montreal Canadiens. And then I am also going to move on from Owen Beck while I'm at it. We're going to package him with a 6th round pick in this year's draft, the 188th overall, to the Philadelphia Flyers for their 3rd round pick next year and the Toronto Maple Leafs 3rd round pick next year. Again, there was no place for either Mazar or Beck, as unfortunate as it sounds. And with that done, I think that's all the trading we're going to do. I was considering moving on from Emil Vini because I have a lot more hopes for Gabriel Dag, but I'd rather see what we have before I move on from one of our prospect goaltenders. So we'll jump here to the 107th overall pick and see who's still available. Tiny Redden is listed as a left wing, right wing, 5 years out potentially with low attributes, but he's almost confirmed as a medium top 6 forward, which is very interesting to me. Now he's probably a medium 9, given that Miles Nelson is just 2 picks behind him and is a medium 9 confirmed. But you know, there is a gamble. There is fun in a gamble. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a chance here, and I'm going to. Tiny Redden, the 6-foot right left winger from the Owen Sound Attack. Welcome to the Montreal Canadiens. And he is a medium top 6 forward, so I think we struck it there. We struck pretty good gold there, hopefully, if he can develop. I don't think he will. He's 50 overall. We'll have to wait and see. Jumping to the 156th pick here in the NHL entry draft, we'll see who's available. And it's getting pretty slim pickings here. There is a confirmed low elite, and that's who I'm going to go with. Aino Tarki, the 6'3" left winger from the Porn Assat of the Liga. Welcome to the Montreal Canadiens, a 69 overall already at 18 years old. Oh, he has some interesting damn stats too. He could be a steal for us, honestly. He has all the potentials and markings to be a major booster throughout the next season and possibly be NHL ready in 2 to 3 years maybe. But that's going to be it for this year's draft. I'm going to be moving on from the last 2 picks, the 6th and 7th rounder we have. And you know what? I'm just going to move them for a 3rd round pick from the St. Louis Blues for next year's draft. So that's going to be a lot of 3rd rounders we have in next year's draft that we can probably package up and get a 2nd or 1st rounder. But there we go, trade done. And as you can see, we have a 1st, 2 seconds, and 4 3rd round picks in next year's draft. So we still have draft capital for a team that has won 2 President's Trophies in 3 years. And even though the NHL entry draft is done for us, the 2027 NHL entry draft comes to a close here. We had a pretty solid showing, grabbing Christopher Ellison, Eric 2, Viktor Sloviev, Tiny Redden, and Tarki. as our main picks, I think now we get into the big stuff of this episode. Now is the true time to see, will Lane Hutson lower his asking price? We have moved on from Alex Newhook, so we don't have to worry about re-signing him. I don't even know if the Ducks will be able to get him signed to a contract, or if he'll hit restricted free agency. Maybe he'll even hit unrestricted free agency, and we could look to bring him back. But again, we don't have a space for him, honestly. But jumping into the re-sign phase here, we will see what we can get done to sign Lane Hutson to a new contract. And he's probably going to be the highest paid player over Elias Pettersson. Hopefully not, but we'll see. And his asking price has not really dropped. In fact, it's only dropped by like $1.5 million. He's asking for 14.2 a year over the next 4 years. And if we change the term, yeah, it's still crazy. Guys, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to qualify him and see if we can wait for his price to come down. I'm not gonna lose Lane Hutson, that's for sure. We have the cap space to match any offer, so don't be worried about that. But I'm not willing to really pay him $14-15 million a year right now. So we have qualified Lane Hutson. We will see what we can do to get him re-signed. Probably try to negotiate with him still. Maybe he'll be willing to come down in his asking price or accept a lowball offer. I just don't even know what a lowball offer for Lane Hutson would be. I mean, I don't want to give him a lot of term. Maybe a 2-year deal at $12.5 million a year, but that's a hell of a lot of money for a bridge contract, honestly. But again, if we go higher, 8 years, it's $17.4 million. Do we want to be paying Lane Hutson $17.4 million? Again, I'm just so nervous about giving out term to a guy who's only played 2 seasons. And as stellar as those 2 seasons have been, I'm too nervous about handing out term. If it was 8 years at $12.5 million, I'd be much more willing. 8 years at probably around $16.5 million, I'm not as willing. Definitely not as willing. I will try to offer him a 2-year, $12 million a year contract. If he accepts that, that's going to be pretty good news for us, knowing that we don't have to worry about him for the next 2 years and extends our window by 2 years. If he doesn't, I mean, it's still going to be a lot more negotiating to come. So we'll see if he accepts that. Harbor Jackeye does not want to extend with the team. He's looking for $6 million a year. I'm going to qualify him just to see if we can get something. Oh, it's a $3.675 million qualifier. I mean, I wouldn't even mind paying that if he does resign, so I will qualify him, but it looks like Harbor Jackeye has played his last game as a Montreal Canadien. Tristan Luneau is looking for nothing. We're going to give him 3 years, $2 million a year. If that goes through, that would be amazing. Raphael Harvey-Pinard is looking for under $1 million to re-sign with the team, so let's give him 1 year, $950,000, see if he extends. He might not want to because of the fact that he didn't get a lot of ice time. Now I'm going to go through and hand out contracts to remaining expiring players, see who I want to bring back and who I don't want to bring back, and I'll be right back with you. So we are going to give Dag his entry-level contract. We want to jump in and say that he's going to get his entry-level contract. He's probably even going to get some NHL ice time this season. We'll just have to wait and see where the cards fall. Caden Primo needs an extension. He's not looking for anything, so we're going to give him 2 years, $1.1 million. All right, I have offered contracts out to the players that I want to bring back, and there's going to be a lot of players leaving the team. William Carrier and Jake Evans don't want to re-sign. They were part of a dominant fourth line for us for a bit there, but they're asking for a lot of money, and I'm just not willing to offer it, honestly. William Carrier still looking for over $1 million, and he just played the entire season in the AHL, so it's just not going to work. We have depth. We can look to fill in those pieces in free agency, or even possibly bring them back if they don't sign contracts. So we are going to be letting go of William Carrier and Jake Evans, unfortunately. Justin Falk we brought in for the trade deadline. He did really well for us. We don't have a space for him. We just don't. He's 35. We don't need that. So we are also going to move on from Justin Falk. Tanner Jeannot is another person we're just going to let go of. Same with Joel Armia. Nick Bodine, I wouldn't mind bringing back for another year. I did miss him completely, so we'll bring him back for 2 years, actually, at $850,000. I did offer Brandon Gallagher, now that his $6.5 million contract has expired, and he still wants to stay with the team. I offered him a 1 year, $850,000 contract, so we'll see if he comes back. Philip Rue, I believe, was a waiver pickup. We're going to let him go. Jeff Petrie, he doesn't want to come back. He's looking for a little too much money. If he wasn't looking for over $1 million, I'd bring him back, but I need the cap. So we're going to let go of Jeff Petrie and move on from him again. Nathan Legare, we are going to let go of. No, we're going to qualify Legare and Protap because we can. And that's going to be it. We're going to let go of Colton White and see what we can do to fill in these spots in free agency. But yeah, we'll see. Do these players accept their extensions? So right off the bat, Lane Hutson does not extend with the team. He can understand we want some flexibility, but we haven't made it worth his while financially. So he does not extend with the team. We'll have to still work on negotiating a contract with him. Brendan Gallagher does come back, and at around $5.8 million cheaper, or $5.7 million cheaper. So that's great. Raphael Harvey-Pinard is back with the Montreal Canadiens. Nate Smith extends. Nick Beaudin extends. Caden Primo is happy with the amount of minutes that he played last season, no doubt, so he is extended for the next 2 years. Barry Belay does not want to come back. He feels that there's too many players at his position in the depth chart, and he's not wrong. So Tristan Luneau does accept that 3-year, $2 million a year contract, so that is a hell of a steal for a guy whose individual attributes look as good as his do. And Gabriel Dag accepts his ELC. So does Yuri Zubov. So out of that, we actually got a lot of players re-signed. Barry Belay, we're just going to release because I don't want to overpay him. Legare and Protown, we're going to wait. They'll probably accept anyways. Lane Hudson, we still need to see if we can negotiate with him. His price has dropped a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to, again, try to go 2 years at $12.5 million. If he accepts that, that's still decent. If not, then we're going to have to wait it out. So will he accept that 1 year or that 2 year contract? And he does. 2 years, $12.5 million. Lane Hudson is now not something to worry about until he's 25, maybe 26 years old. So our window has extended. We have a top tier defender still with the team for the next 2 years. So, I mean, it's a little more than I wanted to give him, but with how good of a season he had, he deserves that money. I wish we just could have gotten him to more term. But now we've gotten everyone that I really was pressed to get signed to a contract extended, so there's nothing left to do but to jump to free agency and wrap up this video here. Protas does extend before the re-sign window closes, as does Nathan Legare. We lose a few scouts here, and I don't think we lose any coaches. We didn't. So we lose a few scouts, but we are now at the free agency window. I want to see who's available. Hopefully there's not another stellar player of the caliber of Elias Pettersson available where people tell me to throw the sun and the moon at them to bring them onto the team. I mean, it's not that I'm not willing to, but we have such a depth problem already with so many players. I don't want to add to it, but let's see who is available. And you know what? I might have lucked out because it's not looking like there's a lot of stellar players here. Jaden Struble is available, asking for $6.1 million. I'm not willing to pay him that. Aside from that, the top player that I would look at is Matthew Savoy, and him being a restricted free agent means that I'm not going to go after him. So, guys, I don't think there's anything really here aside from a goaltender possibly, but we have so many goaltenders coming up that it's not worth it for me to cause more frustration for myself. So that's it, guys. That's going to wrap up this video here. There's some decent players available. I mean, Pavel Zacha is the best listed forward available. I don't think we need to make any big moves. Maybe some depth pieces. Pontus Holmberg is a possibility. Isaac Rosen, if he's not an RFA, which he is, so he's out of the books already. But there's some depth pieces that we can definitely look at to bring in and strengthen that bottom six. Even bringing back a Jake Evans now that we have confirmed amount of cap to give and not have to reserve it for the re-signing of Lane Hudson. You know, we have some more flexibility now. Matthias Norlander, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. I know it doesn't make sense to add as much depth, but you know what? We're going into a win now phase. As I said earlier in the video, I am looking to wrap up these 3 franchise mode series, and after 4 years as the GM of the Montreal Canadiens, I think we're switching into win now mode because the fans have to be getting angry now. I think we have to really put our foot to the floor and power this team into greatness. But that's going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been, I'm not going to lie, this has been a really hard video to record. It's taken me like 7 hours to record it. Not because it's been like, oh, all the due diligence and stuff like that. No, because I keep screwing up and I had to go take a nap in between. It took like 100 attempts to start the video. I kept saying, hey there everybody, my name is Keno, so many damn times that my throat hurts. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this video, please leave a like down below. It'll let us know what type of content you want to see more of. Also, I hope you guys all had a great Valentine's Day, or you had a great start to the year so far. You guys have given me a great start to the year. You're all amazing. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support and helping this channel grow as much as you have. You guys are astounding, and I can't thank you enough. This has been a fun journey, and I can't wait to see more of it. Also, make sure, as I said earlier, leave your comments down below. What teams do you want to see next? I already had one suggestion, and I'm probably going to do it, but I need some more, guys. Give me some options here. Give me some options. But thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.